What's up, faithful? Today's video is packed with updates, rumors, and a fresh look at how the San Francisco 49ers might approach the upcoming NFL Draft. This is version 2.0 of my 2025 mock draft, and yeah, there's still time for a couple more versions before things go down at the end of the month. Mark your calendars. Round 1 kicks off Thursday night, April 24th. Rounds 2 and 3 follow on Friday night. And then the madness of rounds 4 through 7 wraps up on Saturday, April 26th. Now, the Niners have been busy. They've let go of several players, made smart moves to stockpile picks, and they've got holes to fill. Big ones. This is the moment they need to nail the draft, and the board is stacked with talent if they play their cards right. Looking ahead to 2026, San Francisco owns the 11th overall pick in the first round, the 43rd pick in the second, and 2 selections in the third round, 75 and 100. That's 4 picks in the top 100. And it doesn't stop there. They also hold the 113th and 138th picks in the fourth round, 2 fifth-rounders at 147 and 160. And while they don't have a 6th-round selection, they do own 3 7th-round picks, numbers 227, 249, and 252. So let's dive into my updated mock draft for the Niners. A lot of NFL draft analysts are projecting that San Francisco could go for a cornerback, a lineman on either side of the ball, or maybe even a defensive tackle. In my version, though, I'm kicking things off with an edge rusher. I truly believe that this is one of the team's top priorities: edge rusher, defensive tackle, right tackle, center, and left guard. And this guy I got going at pick number 11, he could be one of the most electric players in this draft class. If they can land him, it would be a game changer. The idea of pairing him with Nick Bosa? Scary for opposing offenses. He's got all the tools: speed, bend, flexibility, and weighs in around 250 pounds. He's explosive off the edge, relentless in his motor, and plays with a physicality that jumps off the tape. What's really unique is that he has a wrestling background, which gives him an edge, pun intended, when it comes to leverage, balance, and hand combat. He stays low, uses his core strength well, and has a knack for slipping past tackles using slick body control. His 2024 season was downright dominant. He led the nation in sacks with 17 and added 23 tackles for loss. He went up against Ohio State, a team that went on to win the national title, and held his own against offensive tackles who were expected to be day 1 or day 2 picks. That performance stood out. Over the last 2 seasons, he racked up 89 total pressures, which is nuts. Some folks question if the production at Marshall will translate to the NFL, but let's not forget, he was originally recruited to a Power 5 school in the ACC. The film does not lie. This guy blows up plays, disrupts rhythm, and shows high-level instincts. Now, there are a few red flags. He was suspended back in 2022 while at Virginia and has been the subject of 2 sexual misconduct allegations. No formal charges were filed, but teams are definitely doing their homework. Coaches from both Virginia and Marshall have given mixed reports about his character, though his coach at Marshall described him as one of the most humble guys he's ever coached. That says something. Still, the production in 2024 can't be denied. 17 sacks, 23 tackles for loss. The guy was a monster. People wonder how he jumped from 4.5 sacks to 17 in just 1 year. But I think the game finally slowed down for him. He figured it out, and that switch flipped. San Francisco has tried in the past to find a complementary pass rusher to play opposite Bosa. They spent a 2nd-round pick trying to fill that role, and it didn't work out long-term. This is a new shot, and it's one they cannot afford to miss. If everything goes right, this kid can bring immediate impact. He's explosive, disruptive, and fits what this defense wants to do. Now, with the 43rd pick, I'm switching to the interior of the defensive line. I'm looking at a nose tackle from Michigan. 6'4", 331 pounds, and built like a brick wall. He's powerful, versatile, and can line up in multiple fronts. He's had some highlight reel games, including a huge one against a top rival. But yeah, he's not without concerns. There's a bit of inconsistency in his tape, and while he's got all the size and raw power you'd want, he doesn't always explode off the snap. Personally, I prefer defensive tackles who are a bit leaner and quicker, but chances are this guy's off the board before pick 43 anyway. If he's still there, though, I think the Niners should run to the podium. He racked up 32 tackles last season, with 7 for loss, 3.5 sacks, and 27 pressures. Those are serious numbers for an interior lineman. He also had 5 pass breakups and 2 fumble recoveries. Not bad for someone who was overshadowed for most of his college career. What impressed me most? He put up 27 pressures in one season and 23 the year before. That kind of consistency is rare for a big man in the middle. He crushed it at the combine, too. Ran a 5.13 40, vertical jump 31 inches. That burst in tight areas? That can be coached and refined. This guy could dominate in the middle with the right development. By the time we get to the third round, it's time to focus on the offensive line. I'm taking a shot on one of the more underrated prospects in this class. This player stands 6'5", weighs in around 325 pounds, and has nearly 35-inch arms. At his pro day, he ran a 40 in 5.05 seconds. Oh, and here's the kicker. He's got a wrestling background, too. I love that. Wrestling breeds tough, balanced, disciplined linemen who understand leverage and hand placement. He didn't even start playing football until his sophomore year in high school. But despite his inexperience, he's turned into a polished, effective offensive lineman. He went to a smaller school, but don't let that fool you. He played like a beast. Started 41 games and helped his team dominate on the ground. Technically sound, physically imposing, and just scratching the surface of his potential. I see him as a future left or right tackle, especially with one veteran nearing retirement and another possibly on his way out after the season. The guy doesn't need to start immediately, but he's someone who could develop into a key piece on this line. Last year, he earned a pass blocking grade of 88.1, a run blocking grade of 89.9, and his overall score was 90.7. That's elite level stuff. He only gave up 6 pressures, 1 hit, and committed 7 penalties. Sure, he's got to clean that up, but he's got the tools, the attitude, and the upside. In the Niners' outside zone system, you need linemen who can move in space, and this guy can do just that. Now, coming up at the 100th pick, we're shifting gears and looking at wide receiver. There's uncertainty around a key player's injury return, and with another recently traded, the need is real. The guy I've got targeted here is a playmaker. Straight up, stands at 5'10", weighs just under 200 pounds, and runs a blazing 4.40. His first step off the line is electric, and he has that ability to stop on a dime and make defenders miss. He runs crisp routes, accelerates quickly, and gets separation with ease. Perfect for a team that thrives on yards after the catch. He's not a big body, and yeah, he'll struggle against press at times, but he can track deep balls, make chunk plays, and bring an explosive element to the offense. Last year, he was targeted over 100 times, caught 70 balls, went for nearly 1,200 yards, averaged over 17 yards per reception, and scored 14 touchdowns. That's some serious production. The one issue? Drops. He had 3 in 2023, 5 in 2022, and 5 more in 2021. That's something that needs to be addressed. But overall, the skill set is there. He's a potential number 2 or 3 wide out at the next level, and in this scheme, he could shine. Now, let's talk about one of the more intriguing prospects in this entire class, a cornerback out of Kansas State. If he's still available at pick 113, I'd seriously consider addressing the secondary with this selection. Even though he's slightly undersized, his play doesn't reflect that at all. He's built for the slot at the next level, which actually opens up flexibility for another guy to stay outside after transitioning last year. He's feisty, physical, and plays bigger than his frame suggests. This kid was a track star in high school, state champion level. He ran the 40 in 4.35 and shows it on tape. He's got twitch, quick hips, and elite change of direction skills. He excels in press man coverage and knows how to get in receivers' faces. The versatility is a huge bonus too. He can play inside or outside, depending on a matchup. Last season, he racked up 50 tackles and 3 tackles for loss, which tells you he's not afraid to get physical. But what really caught my eye were his ball skills. The guy just has a nose for it. He logged 8 pass breakups in 2024 and had 13 the year before. That consistency shows he reads plays well and reacts quickly. He was targeted 73 times last season, allowing 41 completions for 371 yards and 2 touchdowns. The quarterback rating when throwing his way? 73.5. That's excellent. He's a high IQ player with a long college resume, and that experience matters. You want rookies who've seen a lot, who can step in and play right away if needed. And this guy checks those boxes. Switching gears again, let's talk about running back. The team could definitely take a swing on one late in the draft, and there's a name on my radar who might raise some eyebrows. He's electric in the open field. He reads his blocks well and fits that outside zone scheme perfectly. When he finds daylight, he hits another gear, gone. That's exactly what you want in this offense. He can also catch passes out of the backfield and become a real mismatch for defenses. But there's a catch. He's had some ball security issues, 7 fumbles over the last 2 seasons, and there are whispers about his work ethic. The team is big on culture and accountability, so he'll have to prove he's serious. Still, the talent is real. In 2024, he had 134 carries for 730 yards, averaging 5.4 yards per attempt. He also added 42 catches for 368 yards and scored 14 touchdowns. Those numbers jump off the page. Now, let's move to quarterback. With 11 picks in this draft, I think it makes total sense to invest in a developmental guy. The Niners have had success in the past finding gems at QB, Beathard, Mullins, Purdy. There's a player from a respected program who fits the bill. He's 6'3", 260 pounds, and had a huge 2024 season after transferring. He's got a big arm, isn't afraid to take shots downfield, and plays with confidence, even if it gets him into trouble sometimes. He completed 66% of his passes last year, throwing for nearly 4,800 yards with 37 touchdowns and 12 picks. Yeah, the interceptions are high, but that comes with being aggressive. He's not the most mobile guy, but he can move enough to make plays. And with the right coaching, he could be a really solid backup, maybe even more. He'd compete for that QB3 or QB2 role and could surprise a lot of people with the right development path. Back to the offensive line. We're not done there yet. There's a guy I've got my eye on from a top program. 6'5", 318 pounds, benching over 400 pounds, squatting 570. Just a freakishly strong dude with raw tools you can work with. He's still developing, but has that nastiness you want in a lineman. He's aggressive, finishes blocks, and brings real pop in the run game. The best part? He doesn't need to start right away. Give him a year or two, and he could anchor either guard spot. At linebacker, I've got another name circled. 233 pounds, 6'2", ran a 4.6 440, but he plays faster than that. He's got a thick frame, solid coverage instincts, and can stick with running backs and tight ends. He mirrors well in space and moves with smooth transitions. He's also got some pass rush upside. High character guy, though sometimes his read and react instincts are just a touch slow. But he's coachable, and there's no better place to learn than this linebacker room. He's someone I'd bet on in the 5th or 6th round. Tight end? Yup, still a need. Even with a recent signing for the TE2 role, I'd absolutely invest in another one through the draft. There's a player I really like from a smaller program. 249 pounds, good hands, solid route running. He's raw, but the upside is there, and he's flashed in workouts. One more late-round prospect worth watching is center out of Texas. He doesn't test off the charts, but he's reliable, physical, and played through some brutal defensive matchups in college. He was the anchor of his offensive line during a playoff run, and I like what I saw on tape. He's not flashy, but you know what you're getting, dependability and toughness. So there you have it, my full mock draft for the Niners. From explosive edge talent to developmental quarterback and much-needed reinforcements on the offensive line and secondary, I feel like this class checks a lot of boxes. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a shocking twist that has NFL fans on the edge of their seats, rumors have begun swirling that defensive powerhouse Myles Garrett could be traded to the San Francisco 49ers. A video released earlier this week showing Garrett's intense workout alongside the 49ers coaching staff has sparked speculation that a deal might be in the works. For a player who has already established himself as one of the NFL's elite defensive forces, joining the 49ers would change the entire landscape of the NFC. But could it really happen? Myles Garrett, the Cleveland Browns' all-time sack leader, has been an unstoppable force on the defensive line since he was drafted first overall in 2017. Known for his explosive speed, strength, and ability to disrupt the quarterback, Garrett has been named an All-Pro multiple times, including his recent 2023 Defensive Player of the Year award. His 9-tackle, 2-sack performance in Week 7 of the 2024 season, paired with his impressive stats and leadership, has only reinforced his position as one of the league's most feared defenders. What makes this potential move to the 49ers so tantalizing is their already stellar defensive line. With players like Nick Bosa leading the charge, adding a player like Garrett could turn their defense into an absolute juggernaut. The 49ers, who were one game away from the Super Bowl in 2023, could catapult themselves into true championship contention with Garrett's presence on the edge. The combination of Garrett's elite pass-rushing skills alongside Bosa's ferocity could give opposing quarterbacks nightmares all season long. If the trade does go through, it's not just the 49ers defense that will benefit. The entire NFC West division would be put on notice. Teams like the Seattle Seahawks and Los Angeles Rams, who have had their fair share of battles with San Francisco in recent years, would have to rethink their strategies with this formidable duo terrorizing their quarterbacks. Garrett's ability to wreak havoc behind the line of scrimmage could single-handedly elevate the 49ers' chances of dominating the division. As speculation continues to mount, one thing is clear. Myles Garrett's future in the NFL is as exciting as ever. Whether he stays in Cleveland or makes a dramatic shift to San Francisco, one thing is certain. His impact on the field will remain undeniable. Fans and analysts alike are eagerly awaiting confirmation, but one thing's for sure. If Garrett joins the 49ers, the NFL will never look the same again. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.